About the bananas or the suckers, this reminds me of what type of language? I don't know which type of language.
Which type of?
Lunch.
Oh, haitukukali by the way.
This reminds me that you are here.
No.
Remember, this is a show that normally comes to you so that you can gain the insights in the field of agriculture. You as a small-scale farmer and you as an aspiring farmer in Kenya. And when we speak about the investment level in Kenya, what can you speak about? What can you say about the leverage investment level so that we can engage both youth while focusing on digital literacy and technology?
Now, I think my friend has brought a good initiative that they are making youths are involved much more in agriculture. But to leverage investment in agriculture today in Kenya, first of all, we must create that conducive environment, that policies and laws in agriculture should be done in a correct manner. For example, we have various bodies dealing with agriculture now. But now, is it agriculture? My question is, in Kenya now, is it agriculture, do agriculture belong in the national government or the county government? Is it devolved or not? That's the question. Because some sectors belong to the national government, part of agriculture. Others belong to the county government. They can say, we have to realize and we have to bring only one sector to deal with issues of agriculture so that we go somewhere. If you're going to deal with agriculture in the county level, let's deal with it in the county level. And if you're going to deal with agriculture in the national level, let's do it in the national level. I want to say this. One of the issues that we must take into consideration before we invest in agriculture, for example, let's first of all create a conducive environment for our farmers. Let farmers access good information. Let also have extension officers like us who can bring up-to-date information to our farmers, the local farmers that can access information, for example, on social medias and so on. So the best thing is, first of all, create policies and laws that can facilitate easy access to, for example, the raw material, for example, the inputs, for example, maybe the labor, and so on.
And when you speak about the inputs or the raw materials, when you create a conducive environment, most of the extension officers normally focus on farmers, leaving the consumer, who is at least 75% normally consume the agricultural product. How best is this conducive environment related to the consumer?
No, let me just interject on that because when you talk about the issue of trying to leverage the aspect of agriculture in the Kenyan economy, my opinion is that we need to look or to relook on the strategy of marketing. That is where now the baseline of now the, let's say, the backbone of agriculture lies again. Because when we manage to mobilize resources, and so we shall manage to buy the inputs, and so we shall manage to get the labor. But now the problem is that what is the end game of these products that we are going to produce in the field? The end game is in the market. So one thing that has failed us again in the field of agriculture is that we are lying low in exploring the market potential of the agricultural produce. And that is why when you look currently, the mama mboga or the small scale farmer in Kenya, currently when you are producing something like tomatoes, you take them to the market, and then you find that you cannot sell the tomatoes within a given period of time, then this perishable good is going to go bad very easily, and then the farmer is going to lose it all. So what we are saying is that let us try to develop strategies in which we can explore even the international markets. And even the local markets that we have, they should be expounded in that we also have a strategy in which the farmer can be lifted off, or the burden in the farmer can be lifted off, so that he doesn't feel the issue of losing because of perishability of the products that they are producing. This means that we need to invest more in ensuring that we get the market, even if it is factories that are going to process these products, or the consumer markets that are at international level where we can transport or export these products. So this will greatly help.
And this is all about creating a conducive environment so that the farmer also benefit, but not only the farmer who benefits, but also the consumer. Remember, agricultural export opportunity for the Kenyan economy is at 81%. Every year we export more than we produce. What is the rate of development in the field of agriculture? Not only that is in the production scale, but also in how more investment opportunities are being created for the young upcoming youths.
Now I can say Kenya is not at a good ground. For example, we export. What we export and what we import is totally different. That's why we are not doing well in agriculture. For example, I can say the investment part of it in agriculture is very poor. That's one factor. And also enhancing our farmers to access market is also a poor. We are using poor strategies. I think access to market is a critical issue to a farmer, and you can also make it easy for farmers to access market by use of technology, as we are talking. How can we use technology to make our farmers access market? For example, we have the digital space. We have those apps, the applications.
Yes.
We have the social media platforms where the farmer can just go in or log in and access what? The market. So we must enhance agriculture in our nation by also making sure that all the farmers are accessing information or are accessing the market now, right now.
When we talk about the use of social media in the field of agriculture, remember ChatGPT is also a social media which you can use so that you gain more insight on what is being taken or what your crops or what your livestock are being or what they are going through, so that you can gain what and how can you leverage about it. When we speak about social media, one of my friends from Kibwezi is asking me that, ask our guests, how is poor infrastructure and exploitation from middlemen affecting us farmers, as small-scale farmers in this country? Poor infrastructure and that is exploitation by middlemen.
Okay, sure enough, about the issue of infrastructure and middlemen is that it is evident enough that we currently do not have elaborate infrastructure. Basically, when we talk about infrastructure, it is not all about roads, but it is even the space, the internet space that we are using, social media. That is infrastructure. And farmers in Kenya, basically the smallholder farmers or the small-scale farmers, have failed to adopt the technology in terms of using their cell phones to access the market or to access the consumers directly. And then number two, for those farmers who are producing the perishable goods, the current state of roads in Kenya are very pathetic. They are wanting. And therefore, farmers are losing a lot. I was reading an article on social media today, Twitter, and it was a given media personality who was reporting that the price of cabbage in Molo, Nakuru, that is around Nakuru, has dropped from 20 shillings per head to 2 shillings per head. Now, what is the cause of all this? One is that those people are lacking the infrastructure to transport their products to regions where they can access good market prices,
Mm.
or they can fetch good market prices. Number two is that they are being exploited by middlemen who have come in with the saying that there is no market for your products, yet they are ready. And when the farmer leaves them in the field, they are going to go bad. So the only option that the farmer is left with is that let him just let it go with even 2 shillings, like it was being reported.
Mm.
And this is a serious exploitation, because there is no way you can get back your input financials when you sell your products at 2 shillings.
Mm.
With the current Kenyan economy, it can't happen. So in this scenario, we are trying to say that let the government try and develop policies. We have the parliamentarians who are responsible in policy formulations.
Mm.
Let them try and develop policies that are going to shape the landscape of value chain in agriculture.
Mm.
Because when we allow these middlemen to venture into agricultural fields and then they bridge the farmer with the market, the farmer is going to lose.
Mm.
The middleman is going to benefit. The consumer is going to be exploited as well, because when he takes from the farmer at 2 Kenya shillings, goes sells at 40 Kenya shillings, and then instead of the ambient flow of income within the 3 individuals, only 1 individual is going to benefit. And therefore, the only thing that we have to regulate is the policy in terms of middlemen engaging in agricultural sector.
And when you speak about the policy regulation in the field of agriculture, that is the Kenyan government should just regulate its policies. Remember, this is AgriVision show which is being aired to you because you requested for it. It is being coming to you for your information, for your education, for you to get informed about what physically is affecting agriculture. When we say we speak about information gaining, what is the rate? Sweet potatoes and cabbages.
Now corruption comes in the issue of the middleman. For example, my friend has spoke well on a farmer produces, for example, in Mondelcon they produce potatoes, they produce, let's say, coffee. But now, to get that particular market of that commodity is the only way they can do so is by middlemen. So middlemen can easily corrupt. You can see middlemen can purchase, for example, potatoes at a cheap price. Then they go to other market where there is consumers. Then they sell it at what? At a high price. Don't you see that as corruption? So corruption in Bungoma County is much higher in the sector of agriculture. Also, corruption comes in on the issue of employment. The issue of employment. Bungoma County is employing unqualified agricultural officers, for instance. That's why the county is not developing. So I want to say this. If you want to develop in the sector of agriculture in Bungoma County, let's look at how the people we are employing in that sector, their qualification and their knowledge and training. That is where corruption is also an issue in the sector of agriculture. Also, on the issue of inputs, I think in 2017, you saw the prices of commodities went a bit higher.
Yes.
Because inputs were also of high price.
Yes.
Acquiring a fertilizer in 2017 was not that way cheap.
But remember, in this current regime that is under Ruto's government, there was a scandal of fertilizer, expensive fertilizer, but fake. How are you as extension officers going about it?
So that is part of corruption. That is part of corruption.
The right fertilizer reaches that small-scale farmer who always has the trust of your information. The fact that now the county government of Bungoma is employing unqualified trainers.
That's why I am saying we must have professionals. So when somebody produces fake fertilizer and gives it to farmers, what are you expecting to get as products? it is you who is going to consume that particular product, and you are delivering a fake fertilizer. So, for example, maize, you are giving out a fake fertilizer for maize. Maize fails to do well. Then you expect the price of maize in the coming years to be down. So a farmer purchases a wrong fertilizer or a fake fertilizer, loses the products or the let me say the crop. Then you expect at the end of the year, for example, that farmer should produce that commodity, sells to you, you consume. How is it possible? So we must have professionals. Before fertilizer is delivered to a farmer, professionals must evaluate or must look at it and also come in conclusion that is good for the consumption of crops or the farmer. That is where we will do it in the sector of agriculture.
That is how the sector of agriculture is striving so that they can produce more and more, so that the country and the African nation at large is at a secure place. Each and every year they talk about financial stability in each and every motion of the parliament. How is this financial stability related to the farmer, consumer, and an aspiring farmer?
Okay, so allow me to respond to that on the issue of financial stability in relation to the farmer and agricultural production and the economy at large. Currently, the Kenyan government or the state of the country is fighting what we call poverty, and it has also included ignorance, and it has also included other aspects. But basically, I want to major on ignorance and poverty. The state of the poverty or the level of poverty in the country as at now is very, let's say, it's ascending or it's rising at a very rapid rate. Reason being, our farmers have got no serious source of income, and therefore this is going to directly translate to what the farmer is also doing in the field in the process of agricultural production. And at the same time, this is the reason as to why we are advocating that our farmers or those who would wish to engage in agricultural production, they should be aided in the process of resource mobilization so that they can be able to access sufficient resources, right information. The resources are also information. So they can also get the right information so that when they venture in the business of agriculture, they are going to do it precisely well, and they are going to have the right outcome out of it. Number two is about ignorance. Majority of our farmer, like I said previously, we are fighting perception. The way in which someone perceives a new idea, a new information, a new technology. So in this scenario, when we try to leverage our farmers off this burden of perceiving everything as something that is going to devastate what we are doing in the field of agriculture, then we are going to overcome the financial stability of our farmers, and therefore trying to leverage them from the burden that they are going through of financial stability. And also, we also encourage that let us have financial literacy being provided to our farmers, because we all need it. And for us to manage our resources, we must learn.
Yes.
Sure.
Exactly. Financial management strategies should be implemented in the field of agriculture. Remember, this is AgriVision show that normally comes to you through Kibu TV. We'll be coming to you in a short time for a short break.
Now that we had all this rain and lots of grass growing, it's time to preserve them as silage. That way you can keep feeding and milking your cows throughout the season.